Today's topic is patience. And patience is one of those things that everybody says that they want to have. But nobody really wants to practice or take the steps to learn how to be patient. We just want the result and not the work and effort and the waiting that goes into it. We want the growth and not the growing pains, We want the final destination and not the journey to go along with it. But patience is the journey. Especially now, in a world built on instant everything. Instant likes, instant validation, instant pleasure. Patience feels like rebellion. It's quiet, it's slow, it's swept under the rug and unseen. And that's exactly why it matters so much. We don't talk about this enough, but impatience is often rooted from fear. Fear that we're running out of time. Fear that we will be forgotten. Fear that we are not enough unless things happen fast. And I think social media is a big factor to that. It sort of tricks our brains into thinking life should move like a scroll. But real growth moves like a heartbeat. It's slow and it's steady and it's necessary, right? Patience is choosing depth over speed, even when speed feels like the safer option. Patience is not passivity or acceptance. It's choosing to not give up, or it's not doing nothing. Let me rephrase that. It's choosing your time well spent. Patience is control over your emotions in waiting. It's choosing the calm when you want to just crash out and explode and project onto everything, right? It's choosing faith when you want to panic. It's choosing growth when you want to quit. A patient person isn't weak. They're disciplined in their heart and their soul. And true patience is emotional maturity in motion, in action. It's your body wanting to react, but your soul choosing to restrain. It's your pride wanting the control, but your wisdom choosing to stay quiet and stay peaceful. A patient person has power over themselves, and that is the highest form of power one can have. You can tell a lot about someone not by how they act when things are going well, but by how they act when they're forced to wait. Because as we know, as humans with life experience, waiting forces you to face yourself, especially when nothing else is moving. You have to sit with your thoughts and your insecurities and your doubts. You have to sit with the loneliness. And that's why most people avoid patience, because silence is very loud. But every single time that you rush something, you break something that wasn't quite ready yet. You rush into a relationship, it'll fall apart. You rush the healing process, you will relapse into old pain. You rush into success, it'll crumble under pressure. Patience protects what is still growing. And waiting makes you confront the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And that gap is super uncomfortable. It's awkward, it's weird, it feels lonely, but that gap is also where true transformation and the results that you have been looking for actually happen. And every version of you that you admire had to pass through the same waiting room of life. They just didn't give up and they didn't quit. Pain in waiting isn't a punishment. It's preparation for something bigger. Even if you can't quite see the process yet, because when you're living in it, it's gonna suck. For example, I've had times in my life where I wanted everything immediately. I wanted love, I wanted clarity, I wanted peace. And I wanted it right then and right there. And every single time that I rushed into said things, I lost something valuable. And I've learned that some blessings don't come late, they come right on time. Even when on time might feel painfully slow to us. But patience taught me that growth doesn't scream. It grows quietly inside you. And I've realized that a lot of my hardest seasons weren't failures either. They were like the glue and the formation that built who I am now. And when things were silent, I thought I was stuck. But really, I was slowly being shaped over time. And I used to see patience as something being done to me. Now I see it as something being done for me, even in the seasons where I felt lost and hopeless. I was still being led in some way. Every virtue walks with the shadow, because growth and temptation exist in the same soul. And for every heavenly virtue, there's a deadly sin lurking nearby, as we know. Not to defeat us, but to test what we've truly learned. For this one, it's wrath, and wrath wants justice immediately. Patience understands timing, wrath reacts from pain, patience responds from clarity. Sometimes the strongest thing that we can do is just walk away quietly instead of winning loudly, so to speak. Because choosing patience doesn't mean that you are soft, it just means you have the control and you are in control. But wrath likes to tell us react immediately and deal with the consequences later. But patience kind of gives us that pause before you move. Wrath will burn bridges, patience will build them and or keep them steady. Wrath feels powerful in the moment, but empty after. Patience feels painful in the moment, but peaceful after. And every time that you choose patience, you choose your future over your ego or your feelings in the moment. And the hard part about patience is it shows up when nobody else is really watching, as most of the other virtues we have talked about. All of these are very self-based, and nobody's really going to cheer you on in the process. But when you keep working on yourself, even without the applause, when you keep staying kind, not just to other people, but to yourself as well, even when people misunderstand you or don't treat you the way you should be treated. When you keep loving even after being hurt, that's where real character is built. Again, it's in private, and it's not going to be some big spotlight performance, unfortunately. But patience looks like not texting when you're angry, not quitting when things get hard, not judging someone too fast, or letting people grow at their own pace. It could even look like giving yourself grace while you're still healing. And I think this is the best way I look at patience, but patience is strength wearing silence. One more big topic I wanted to talk to you guys about before I let y'all go is patience in relationships. And I want to make it clear that patience in relationships isn't about waiting quietly. It's about loving steadily while things are messy. Real love doesn't move at a perfect pace. It moves in constant pauses and setbacks and misunderstandings and uncomfortable growth. But patience is choosing to stay present instead of checking out the moment things get difficult. And a lot of people think that patience means putting up with anything. But that's far from the truth. Patience is holding your boundaries while still giving your partner grace. For example, it's saying, I won't accept being treated this way, but I also won't throw you away as soon as you mess up. And in relationships, patience looks like listening, even when you want to argue or you're upset. It looks like taking a breath before jumping to conclusions and reacting. It could look like realizing your partner is human and not your enemy. And sometimes the real test of love isn't how deeply you feel about each other, but it's how calmly you handle the conflict. But as we know, growth takes time, healing takes time, and two people growing together takes even more time. And you shouldn't rush a bond that is important to you and that matters, because patience is trusting that if two people truly care about each other, they can grow, they can learn, and they can rebuild the connection that they have. Even after things get a little rocky, it's still believing that love can mature instead of just burning out. And honestly, patience is what separates short connections from real relationships. Anybody can love someone when it's easy, but staying steady when it's hard, that's real, true love. At the end of the day, patience isn't about waiting. It's about trusting. Trusting the process, trusting yourself, trusting that your story isn't over yet. If diligence builds your future, patience protects your heart along the way. Breathe, be still, keep going. It's going to be okay. Patience is not about waiting for life to get easier. It's about becoming strong enough to handle whatever comes your way. Your story isn't moving too slow. It's moving exactly as fast as it needs to. So again, breathe, allow the growth and the trust, and keep walking even when the road is quiet. Because the person that you're becoming is worth every single second of the wait. Thank you all. I love you all. And as always, stay Rohly.